I've mentioned that you should base your research on primary sources, original sources, scholarly publications like textbooks and journal articles. Following APA style, you should refrain from citing secondary sources, which are another author's observation of the source. So therefore, you're relying on that author's interpretation of a source, and you're relying on that author's accuracy in terms of quoting and citing that source. To be more scientific and use the scientific research method, you need to have direct observation of those original sources. So let me show you an example of how this would work using a textbook that we use at Marist, the IABC, or the International Association of Business Communicators Handbook of Organizational Communication. Within this book, we can see a section devoted to the impact of people and culture on organizational communication. And here the author cites another author, Gale, published in 2003. You can see that the author of the IABC textbook quotes Gale from the 2003 publication on page 60 of that source. Now again, we're relying here on the IABC book's author to interpret and to cite and quote that particular passage accurately. If you wanted to use this particular quote from Gale, you should refrain from quoting it from the IABC textbook. You should instead go to the reference list at the end of each chapter, or in some cases the end of a book, and find Gale. Here it is, Gale SF in 2003 February. This comes from Workforce Management, which appears to be either a magazine or journal. And you can find the identifying information on the edition and volume here, and then the page numbers. So to quote Gale accurately and to use a primary citation, you would use the library to look up this particular magazine, look up Gale's article, and read the primary source, the original source, then quote from that. In closing, this may seem like a lot of work, but research, scientific research, using scholarly original sources of material is the hallmark of a successful graduate student. So learn early on in your program how to conduct research, how to rely on sources like the library, and make sure you're using proper citation style and again those original scholarly sources to back up your work.